If someone is new to TikTok, like maybe I'll give this a try, where's a good place to start?
The culture of TikTok is very different than any other platform. What I recommend is intentionally following adults in the space. Follow them and intentionally engage with their comments or on their content right away. Number two, and this is really important, is when it's time for you to create, you can't go wrong with creating content that is educational and that serves people. The other thing that's really important is a lot of people will see a trend and they accidentally forget about their audience and they make the content about them. Don't make it about you. My estimation is it takes people somewhere between 7 and 11 times of seeing your face before they're like, okay, I know this person. I could probably follow them.
Today we are joined by the queen of social media. You may have seen her on Entrepreneur, USA Today, EO Fire, Neil Patel. Look, the list is really long, so I'm just going to end it there. TikTok expert, well over 600,000 followers on TikTok. Rachel Pederson, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, Mark, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is all mine. You know, anytime I get to share a stage and chat with an expert in her field, I'm a happy man. But before we get into the specifics, the tactics, I want to go back to your beginnings. Okay. Back in 2016, don't know what you're going to do. Don't have a degree. Don't have a bunch of cash in the bank. Why did you decide social media management? This is for me. I'm going all in. What led you that way?
You know, so by April of 2016, I was full-time in this business. So at the very, very end of 2015, I remember it was like a holiday service. The pastor was like, what's one thing you know you're supposed to do that you're not doing? And I was like, dang it, I'm supposed to finish my website. And I knew it right then. So literally, we went from the very end of 2015 to already being fully booked by April of 2016. But it was interesting because at that moment, like you said, I had no degree. I didn't have almost any experience as a social media manager. But what I knew was that I'm really good at figuring things out and I'm really good at explaining things. And I love social media. I have for years. I was raised on MySpace and Twitter, and I love social media. And so when it occurred to me, I didn't realize it was like a thing, that entrepreneurship was like a thing that you could get into. I thought it was just something that some people were born into and other people just weren't. Like, oh, that's an entrepreneurial family. Like, you have to have that lineage, but that's not the case at all. So once I realized that there was actually this thing called being a social media manager, that you could actually offer services for social media support to clients and they would pay you for it, I was like, this is such a no-brainer for me. So that's kind of what my mind was thinking. Although, like I said, I came from a really limited perspective. I didn't realize that it was a thing, that there were other people doing it, that there was a whole world of digital marketing and the possibilities that I guess followed after April of 2016.
So I'd love to break this down just a little bit, right? Because you go from no website to being fully booked. How did you make that leap, right? Like, what were the steps in your process, Rachel, for saying, was it like website, product, offering, cold calling? How did you actually build it from zero to hero?
Good question. So I don't personally feel like my website was a big factor, but that's only because I was so determined. So in seasons of my life, I've been on welfare. I've been on food stamps. I've been a single mom renting one bedroom with my daughter. And I know what it is to actually be hungry. And I mean like actual real physical hunger. And I will say that from those seasons of my life, I feel like this massive capacity or this grit was developed. And so when it was time to build my business, there was a part of me that was like, I can do this one of two ways. I can do it slower. I can do it fast. And I was like, oh, let's go fast. And so I don't like the whole hustle and grind mentality, but when you know what it's like to be hungry and you're nervous about that again, there's something so powerful about going fast. And so I really hustled. I looked for clients everywhere. Everywhere. I was like,
by everywhere, is this like DMing on social media, knocking on business doors?
Oh my gosh. So I remember like I'd go into Facebook groups and I'd be like looking for all the answers for how you could find clients. And any person who shared any breadcrumb of how they ever found a client, I was like, I've got to find this. Of course, if they said referrals or word of mouth, I was like, oh, shoot, I don't have that ability yet because no one knows who I am. There's no track record for success. But someone would say like, oh, I found my clients on LinkedIn. And I'd be like, okay, LinkedIn, I'm going to DM on LinkedIn. So I would spend a portion of my day doing that. And someone else would say, oh, I got my clients because I joined this BNI. And I'd be like, all right, BNI, hi, here I am. I'll go to my 2 free, classes or my 2 free meetups, and I'll see if I can find any clients from that. And so I literally marketed everything. And every single person who said, here's a way to get a client, I tried it. And there is something to be said about that period for every person. Are you willing to try different things and try a combination of things over and over and over again until you get the result you're looking for? So that was what my end game was. I knew I had to get results. I had to replace my 9-to-5 because I wanted to give this crazy business thing a go. As soon as I realized it wasn't a lineage thing, I was like, I could totally do this. This is so cool. So I tried every single thing. Most of my clients came from LinkedIn, one-on-one messaging. I was totally spammy and scammy. I just want to put that out there. But at least I was trying stuff and getting stuff out there. And so today I'm always like offering people, here are 7 ways to find clients. Here's 80 ways that I've found clients. Here are, because you're just looking for something that can work. And the truth is you should try everything until you find what really works.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you, especially on trying new things, trying the thing that you haven't tried yet, because you never know what's going to pop. The challenge with this, Rachel, is then sometimes you can feel like you're spread way too thin. You're doing 100 different things. And so I'm saying this in the context of social media, right? Because right now I'm active on YouTube, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. I'm active on all these different platforms, and I have a team behind me. Right? I have a few team members who are helping. Most people don't have that. So what would you suggest to someone who says, social media seems like a really natural place. I want to build my resume. I want to build leads. I want to generate new relationships. How can someone go about addressing the problem of being spread too thin across too many platforms? What should we do?
Oh man, so this was really helpful. I was not super active on all platforms for a long time. So when it was just me, I only focused on the activities that generated direct and immediate leads, to be honest. And I would recommend that for anyone who's in that first, let's say, 3, 5, 10,000 a month. I recommend that because it is so much easier to create content on social media when you do have a team. Even if you're just hiring someone to do your laundry at your house or someone to sort your inbox. Like those were my first 2 hires. I was like, I need help with laundry. I hate it. I'd rather be looking for sales. So it's so much easier to create content across all platforms once you have a team behind you and once you're not super hungry. It's very difficult to create great content that delivers value if you're really hungry. It's hard. So while there are some platforms that can generate pretty fast leads, for example, LinkedIn done well can generate leads, TikTok, Reels, DM game on Instagram, those can all generate leads. Your best bet is going to be focusing on those instead of being like, I'm going to build a YouTube following and I'm going to become a millionaire, next year by producing YouTube videos. Yeah, no, it's going to take a lot longer from YouTube than you'd think. So you don't have to be active everywhere. Like I said, recommend focusing on the places where you're going to generate clients.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely with you there. And I kind of tackle social media as both a long game and a short game. Right, because you need to put in that long-term investment like the YouTube and the podcast, but you also need those quick wins like the Reels and the TikTok. And speaking of TikTok, that's something you've done really, really well, just really excelling on TikTok. So I'm wondering, Rachel, was there ever a moment or a particular video that really popped in and you had this aha moment like, I need to be going all in on TikTok? When was that moment?
Yes. So there's 2 layers. I love that question, by the way. There's 2 layers to the aha moment. Because my aha came a lot sooner than my husband. My husband's my business partner. I brought him into the business and we get to do business together, which is really cool. But my team and my husband, their aha came a lot later. So it was several years ago. I think it was like just over 2 years ago that I got on TikTok. And I remember thinking like, this is gonna be easy. I've got a huge following everywhere else. They'll follow me right over to TikTok. Nope, almost zero crossover. People do not follow you to TikTok from any other platform. So literally, I had 60 followers after emailing my list of, 50,000 at that time people. I was like, 60 followers? This is so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. So I started creating content. It's very cringy. It's me like dancing and doing silly things and lip syncing. But I was just desperately trying to figure out this platform, and there was no manual for success, if I'm being honest. Zero manual for success. And so I started just posting videos. Nothing's really doing that great. And I'm like, well, at least I'm having fun. And my team was like, hey, Rachel, I'm so glad you're loving this TikTok thing, but do you think you could do it outside of work? Because it's not producing anything. And I was like, okay, totally fair. I totally can do that. I can focus on the things that generate results during the workday. And then at night, I'll create some TikToks like with the kids or whatever. So then at 60 followers, I posted one video one night to every parent's favorite song. And that is Baby Shark, do, 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 Baby Shark. Every parent knows the song. And so my kids are doing it. And then I hop in and I'm Mommy Shark doing my part in that song. So I do this dance, and overnight it reaches like 9,000 views. And I was like, oh, okay, but can I do it again? If I can do it one more time, intentionally reaching an adult audience, I think we're onto something. So I keep posting. I'm not having luck again. And I post a video that is aimed at people over the age of 30. And within a week, it reaches 60,000 views. And right then I knew, this is it. I need to go all in on this platform. My team's realization.
Was that video business related?
No, but it was geared towards people over the age of 30. So it was like, if you're over 30, you understand this. Because my goal was just to see, are there adults on this platform? If there's adults, there's sign of life, right? Because we all open the app and see a bunch of 16-year-olds dancing, and it's like, ooh, I don't know if this is the platform for me. So my team's realization came a lot later. My team's realization came when I think the second person, actually, I was teaching a training in one of my programs. We have an agency and then we have programs. And in one of my programs, which is $12,000 per year, I was teaching about TikTok. And I was like, there's not necessarily a trackable ROI from TikTok. And on that call, 3 people in that program said, I found you on TikTok. And I was able to grab that proof and show my team. And my team was like, no way, this is so crazy. And we started tracking where people came from that point on. And we've now closed over 400,000 in revenue directly from TikTok. So it's become very viable. And that was the turning point for my team. There was never a video because to them, it was just noise and movement until they could see like, here's what's trackable behind the scenes. Once we had that proof that 3 people joined our program because of that, they were like, game on. Rachel, make this a priority. Don't miss it a single day. This is your marching orders. You need to do this. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. And something that you've mentioned here, Rachel, I think is interesting. Generally, when I'm on social media, and I assume this is somewhat true for you, you're generally there to generate leads, to build your personal brand, to build the brand of your business, right? Which is social media management, education, et cetera, right? And you can find everything at rachelpederson.com. The question I have for you here, Rachel, is on TikTok, you're not really making only business videos, right? You're making the baby shark video, you're making the 30-year-old and up video. How important do you think it is to integrate these kind of like personal non-business style posts in with your business style posts?
Oh, I think it's essential. And I say that
on every platform or specifically on TikTok?
On many platforms. I think that we're coming into an era, and I may be an early adopter with this assessment, if this makes sense, but consumers are craving transparency. We are in a season where a lot of people are being exposed for double lives, or, people are realizing that they lived a lie, if that makes sense. And a lot of those things are happening. And I don't want to focus too much on that, but consumers are nervous. And I mean that with good intent. Like they're nervous. Like, what is this person like, to their team, or what are they like to their significant other? How are they as a parent? People want to know these things before they invest into programs or hiring you for your services. I think it's essential because pretty soon here, I believe that everything is going to be B2C. There's a consumer making every single business decision.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And I tend to agree with you. LinkedIn is one of those platforms where if you get too personal, it's too much family all the time. I think it turns people off because people are generally there for networking and professional. But at the same time, I think integrating that in is really important because, I mean, one of the things you've done really well is become kind of the staple mompreneur, right? Mom dealing with all the mom issues, which there are plenty of issues being a parent, plus the entrepreneurship aspect, right? I have 2 little kids and it's one of the most difficult balances in my life right now is how can I be there as a parent, as a father, but how can I also make sure that I'm providing a living and providing security long-term for them? Really, really difficult. Do you struggle with that also, Rachel?
All the time. All the time. And I feel like anyone who says, oh, I don't struggle with that at all. Okay, now I'm worried for you because it's a balance. It's tough, especially since kids are always changing. Like, you know how, and I'm sure you've experienced this, as soon as you have like one phase down, one of your kids goes into a new phase and you're like, well, this just threw a wrench in all of our household systems. And the beautiful thing is, since all of our kids are so different, not just my kids are different from yours, but my firstborn is very different from my secondborn is different from my thirdborn. There's not one approach that works for every single kid for every single scenario. I think being a parent is one of the coolest trainings for business because it teaches you patience. It teaches you dealing with different people. It teaches you how to not just teach, but lead and coach and help people become their best. There are so many parallels in parenting to business, but oh my gosh, there are so many days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to cook dinner. Am I a bad parent? It was tons of interviews today. I wrote a book. Like, is it okay if we get McDonald's today? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. But at the same time, yeah, I think that it's normal to have struggles with balance.
There's also this kind of this like standard too, like, oh, you're a mom, you're a dad, you need to be at all the soccer games, you need to be putting food on the table every day. You need to make sure all the laundry is done. By the way, that's an epic hack of hiring someone to do your laundry. I've talked to my wife about hiring someone to do our dishes.
Yes. Okay, so I just have to do this little tangent, and I swear this is going to be the gold bomb that everyone loves the most. I hired out all the household stuff, and that was a game changer for my sanity. So we hired my father-in-law as our household manager. And people are like, you can do that? And I'm like, absolutely yes. And the reason for that is because when I finish a long day of work, and I'm sure you felt this, and lots of people listening have felt this, the last thing I want to do is cook, because then if I cook, I have to do dishes. And then we haven't even started bath time routines. And oh my gosh, this night is so long. And when am I supposed to get me time? Never? What? So when we hired my father-in-law as our household manager, it was 2 birds with 1 stone, giving my suegro, my father-in-law, the person that gave life to my husband, giving him a job security, a job that's a good fit, that he doesn't have to worry about. Giving him that was awesome. But then also my dishes are done. My house is picked up. My laundry's always done. Our dog gets to the groomer and back. Like, it took so much off of my mental, like the load that we carry every single day, that I have to say, I think it might've been one of the best hires we ever made.
It's certainly resonating with me. I think as soon as this call's over, I'm going to go chat with my wife about hiring some help, because it's an immense challenge in this phase of life, building a business, growing a family, your personal health. It's just such a difficult challenge. And listen, y'all, you definitely want to follow Rachel Pederson, all over the place, rachelpederson.com, because she's giving you the goods. All the mompreneurs, dadpreneurs out there, you definitely want to check that out. I don't want to segue too quickly, Rachel, but I definitely want to get into some tactics here, specifically on TikTok, okay? Because that's where you're just crushing it, killing it, destroying on TikTok. So let me first ask you this. If someone is new to TikTok, like maybe I'll give this a try, where's a good place to start? How quickly should I expect to get results? Give me a framework for starting.
This is super important. The culture of TikTok is very different than any other platform. And I want to preface with that in case anyone's like, yeah, that's fluffy. I just want to get to posting. I am going to tell you, like, this is your warning sign to slow down and first observe the culture of TikTok, because you are going to see stuff that defies explanation. There's dark humor TikTok. There is an extreme troll heavy community that intentionally leaves negative comments, but it's not personal. They're trying to gain growth through that. There's a whole big strategy behind that. There's also layers to trends and challenges and plot twists. There are so many different nuances to TikTok that it would almost like be like going to a new high school when everyone else is already used to it. You're not going to come in the first day and be like, hi, everyone, I'm Rachel. You kind of like sit back and like pay attention a little bit and see, okay, what are the dynamics? Pay attention. I mean, you can go in there and say like, hi, this is just who I am and I'm unapologetic about it. But don't forget, this was the moment where I said, take a moment and learn about the culture because it is so different. What I recommend is intentionally following adults in the space. So there are some great, content creators. Look up your favorite content creators in fitness and coaching and the finance space and marketing, and follow them and intentionally engage with their comments or on their content right away, so that you see more content from adults who are going to be creating content for adults and businesses. So that's one thing that I massively recommend. Number two, and this is really important, is when it's time for you to create, you can't go wrong with creating content that is educational and that serves people. A lot of people try so hard to be funny on TikTok. And the truth is, TikTok is where there are a lot of undiscovered comedians. A lot. Like what I'm saying is, I thought I was really funny until I joined TikTok, and then I found out I'm not that funny. So I always fall back on education and serving with value. Like I said, I think I'm hilarious, but not everybody thinks that. But educational content crushes it over and over and over again. The other thing that's really important is a lot of people will see a trend and they accidentally forget about their audience and they make the content about them. So for example, you see a trend and you're like, oh, I should do this. I've got such a great fill in the blank. Don't make it about you. If you make your content about the people you want to serve, you kind of can't go wrong. Even if only 100 people see your videos, that's 100 people who are more likely to interact, fall in love with you. And then remember, my estimation is it takes people somewhere between 7 and 11 times of seeing your face before they're like, okay, I know this person. I could probably follow them. I know them. I've seen their content. I understand their vibe. So if you don't get followers day one or even day 20, and you're not growing as fast as you'd like, just remember it takes people time. They need to see your face a lot and know this is what your vibe is.
Well, I tell you what, I really like the idea of following people that are in your niche and seeing what they're doing, what's working, engaging with their audience. That's kind of a tried and true strategy that's going to work across basically every platform in general. Absolutely. But I'm definitely with you on the TikTok culture is different. It's very different from the LinkedIn culture or the Facebook or Instagram. So that's a really interesting point there, Rachel.
Thank you.
I want to talk also about these 15-second videos because they're popping up everywhere. Right now you can do LinkedIn stories. You got Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. It's going down with 15-second videos. Have you started working on kind of like repurposing videos? So I'll shoot one 15-second video and then I can post it to multiple platforms. Or do you feel that TikTok is so unique that it just doesn't work? Have you played with this?
Ooh, so we start that this week. I've played around with it.
All right.
Yeah, literally tomorrow. My full-time content creator comes on board tomorrow. I'm so excited because she knows me, knows my voice, knows my mission. But actually, I just got Snapchat again. I say again because I had it, 10 years ago. And I started repurposing on Snapchat, and I haven't seen any results yet. But to be fair, I tried with 5 videos, and so that wasn't like a real try. We'll try starting tomorrow. We've done with success. We've repurposed TikToks onto Reels, and had success there. We're going to be repurposing to YouTube Shorts as well. I'm a huge fan of it if it makes sense. Now, I will say this, and this always is challenging for me. It's always the videos that feel a little bit cringy or obvious or like cheesy that seem to do the best across all platforms. And I even like roll my eyes at myself a little bit with the ones that go super viral across different platforms, yet the ones that are the cheesy ones are the ones that crush it. So I have an idea in my head of the types of TikToks that would make sense on Reels, but it's always the ones that surprise me where I'm like, that one wasn't that good, that performs really well on Reels. So I'm a fan of repurposing short video onto other platforms as long as you remove the watermarks, which we just started doing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really funny that you say that. It's hard to predict what's going to go off. I had a video on TikTok. It was just me and my daughter were climbing up this like playground thing and it got 50,000 views. And I was just like, how did this happen? It was just it's very strange. And this is another thing that comes up when I'm talking with my team. My team's like, Mark, do you like this? Do you like this? What about this? What about that? I'm like, listen, just post it. Let's try it. Let's see what we got. And then I like to always go back with my team and say, okay, this one did well, this one didn't. Let's double down on this. It's all about trial and error, I think, when it comes to social media. Speaking of which, RachelPederson.com, she's hosting a special event here coming up April 9th. The Social Media United is now free, Rachel. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it still. We are making our signature program completely free, no strings attached. I'm so excited.
That's really cool. So if someone joined the Social Media United, how would they be different? How would they be changed after they finish the course?
Oh my gosh. Well, you wouldn't be able to finish it easily. There are hundreds and hundreds of master classes, lessons, trainings, resources. So it's difficult to finish, if that makes sense. And that's the goal. It's kind of like Candy Crush, where every week they add like 10 new lessons or 10 new, so that's what we do. The truth is there's no such thing as finishing. And that's intentional, because with social media, if you ever get to a place where you're like, I made it, I understand everything there is to know about social media and marketing, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Welcome to the, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Oh, you're about to go into a crazy season. But the reason that I believe it's never finished is because I learn new things every day and week. In social media, the pursuit of knowledge cannot stop, or else you stagnate. And you see people do that on different platforms. People who figured out old platforms, they struggle to, acclimate to new platforms. So it doesn't end, but you will continually pursue growth as someone who wants to grow on social media.
I love that. I love that theme of perpetual education, perpetually learning. The minute you stop learning, you're in the ground, right? Mm-hmm. So listen, RachelPederson.com, that's where you want to find Rachel. And before I let you go, Rachel, I got a couple quick rapid fires. We're running a little over here, but I got to know, when you wake up in the morning, if there's only one business task you could do for the day, what would you do?
Create a YouTube video. Yep. I would create a YouTube video.
Awesome. And if you had 10 seconds with yourself 10 years ago, what would you say?
Keep going. It's all going to pay off just a lot later than you think.
Love it. Rachel, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today.
Mark, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.